the people, the maintenance, collecting rents, and then just how to get tenants into properties right away were the biggest things that I tackled right away when brought management in-house. Self-management, buddy, it's a big thing that's changed the game for us big time, and excited to kind of share the benefits and what it's done for our business for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, especially going through last episode where talking about the trials, the tribulations, the challenges on third-party management, definitely some, benefits from time to time and where you utilize them, but self-management is sexy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What else is sexy? This fireplace right here. Let's acknowledge the fireplace.
It feels good. Yeah, light it up a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we get some s'mores out and see where the world takes us.
Let's do it, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's save it till the end, though.
All right. That is my favorite part of camping, by the way.
S'mores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not be in the middle of nowhere, away from electronics.
That's second to s'mores.
S'mores first.
Yeah.
Do you like burnt marshmallows or not burnt?
No, I don't want them completely blackened.
Yeah.
Those people are really worried about.
Weird.
Yeah, they're sick.
Just black.
Yeah. I just get it as hot into the center of the fire and then leave it there for 30 minutes.
Start on fire and walk around with it.
Exactly.
You think the toy at that time?
Yeah, you think you're gonna get one of those tricks where they kind of put it into their throat and like, ah.
Fire is pretty cool though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So to answer your question, I like it kind of gooey, browned, not blackened.
Yeah, charred a bit.
Cool. Friend Evan turned me on to the idea of Oreo cookie Hershey's. Whew.
What's that?
Yeah, you won't go back after you've done that. No.
Sounds interesting.
So instead of regular chocolate, Oreo cookie chocolate.
I'm not a huge fan of chocolate to begin with, so
Mind blowing.
I'm not a substitute to Oreos.
Yeah.
I love Oreos for sure. Wow.
Well, give it a whirl sometime. Oh, anyway, so management, huh?
Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, here we are. All right, we can go around on that. So, you've kind of been the ringleader for self-management. So a lot of this questioning is going to be, toward yourself. You've been the boots on the ground, helping to build out softwares, things like that. So let's talk about a little bit why you got started, why kind of self-management, because you were starting to self-manage before even we started doing business together.
Yeah. It started off with third-party management, which we talked previously is like the easiest way to get into having rentals and not have to be super hands-on.
Yeah.
And never in my life did I ever want to self-manage properties. The only thing you hear about when you first buy rentals is the nightmares of tenants calling you 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning about their toilet being clogged up or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So in a lot of people's heads, that's what they think self-management is. And for me, same thing. I was like, nah, I don't want to self-manage whatsoever. So
yeah, you got into real estate investing so you could be hands off and hang out. We just talked about, you jumped away from more of kind of a career orientated job to more investor and things like that. You don't want people calling you in the middle of the night.
Absolutely. Yeah. So start out with third-party management. And then after a while, multiple things happen. But again, if you want to scale up, eventually you need to bring management in the house. And what a catalyst was for me though was how the properties were being managed, what I eventually found out, and the cost that was involved, some of the headaches I was going through, some of the same conversations I was having with the property management company month after month on issues.
Yeah.
It just, after a while, it was such a headache that was forced to bring it in-house and have a really good buddy. We invest in quite a few properties together that self-manage all of his stuff. He lives in Arizona, has a bunch of stuff in Ohio, and it was self-managing it out of state. And he's like, dude, Mark, you're a dummy. You got to self-manage. It's so easy. It's not that bad. And I was like, nah, you're a dummy. I had to do this. It's so much work.
Yeah.
But eventually, was the catalyst, was the properties we had together, was some of the stuff we were having a lot of issues on, plus just my personal stuff I was having issues on. So he was kind of pushing to do self-management. So finally made that jump. And, that's what started going down the rabbit hole of building out a management. I say management team, software, systems, processes, all that stuff was just bad management to begin with.
Yeah.
Third party management.
Interesting. Was there a specific moment that you said, this is it, I'm done, I got to jump, I got to make the leap?
That's a great question. I don't know if there's one specific moment. Maybe there was a realization after I had the same conversation for the 5th time about the same thing with the management company. It's like, okay, obviously this is not going to change.
Yeah.
And the only way it's going to change is if I do something myself. So that was probably one of the biggest things, is that stuff just was not changing whatsoever. And then
Gotcha. So it was a build up over time. It was because, and also once you start turning over rocks, it's, oh, that's another issue, another issue, another issue. It's a snowball that all of a sudden you realize, man, this is a bit of a disaster.
you start to lose track of all the issues there are.
Yeah.
We're kind of going through that on a property we own together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's managed by a third party. So we still have a few things managed by third parties.
Yeah.
Mainly a few apartments that we have. Everything else is self-managed. But one of the ones that we're going through, what you just said, is you uncover this rock and you see this issue, and then that leads to, oh, well, here's an issue, and then here's another issue. And it's just like, what did we get ourselves into?
Yeah. When does this stop? At what point are we saying, okay, that's it, right? You know, so obviously for us, we're taking that in house, and it's a realization that, oh, you know, what's happening with that property and managing them and all of that, but learning lesson for us along the way as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. So we touched on this a bit last episode, but maybe kind of reiterating a little bit on benefits. Why self-managing? You touched a little bit earlier on some of the challenges with third party, but what are you seeing as some of the biggest benefits?
Biggest thing, said it 100 times, is people don't care about your stuff as much as you do.
Yeah.
These houses are yours. They're your babies. They're what is growing your net worth. There is what is it's affecting your family in regards to, this is what's supporting our family, these rentals. This is what eventually would be passed down to kids. So it's the effect that nobody cares about your stuff like you do. And then once you start to bring that house, that really gets amplified by some of the problems and issues that you've seen has gone on while a third party management has had it. And then you bring it in the house, you're like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this house like this? Why did you guys stick this tenant in here? So that was a big thing for us, was just long-term wise, if we want to keep these assets long-term, we got to bring this stuff in-house and go down that process of getting all that stuff built out.
Yeah, makes sense. But, you know, you think about it, can be a little intimidating. Obviously, why you had not jumped into self-management at that point, and you had quite a few properties at that point. What were you seeing as those puzzle pieces? What were those barriers of entry, or maybe even just the framework in general of, you know, property management? What are those big puzzle pieces, and how'd you overcome that barrier?
Yeah, good question. I say the biggest thing is going back to what I mentioned earlier, the misconception about managing tenants and emergencies and waking up at 12 in the morning to phone calls, stuff like that. That is, to put it out there, that doesn't really happen. First off, you got to set expectations on what an emergency is with the tenant. Some tenants think that them losing their keys at 1 o'clock in the morning because maybe they've had too much to drink is an emergency, and now they're trying to blow up my phone. That's not an emergency. And you set those expectations up front with tenants on certain things.
What were they calling about? They just liked you. Hey, Mark, come on out, come party with us.
Yeah, I don't.
And they thought you were cute.
Well, of course. Yeah. Common sense, but
Hey, sorry, Susie. I am in a different state. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I know we hit it off. Yeah.
So it's getting over that mindset that that's not really the reality, but then finding the right people to help you manage stuff. So the biggest thing is finding a handyman that can go and take care of emergencies when they come up, if it's within their realm. But just take care of the tenant themselves and take care of the maintenance requests that come, and take care of the little things that the tenant needs to have an enjoyable experience in the property.
Yeah.
One thing we do for emergencies is we list, hey, here's what an emergency is, and here's the right contacts to call when there is an emergency. So we set that expectation up from the front. But finding that handyman, and that could be the same person that also helps you with your unit turns when a property goes vacant, getting that thing cleaned up, remodeled, things like that. Could be a different contractor depending on the type of work needed, but could be the handyman. So really, it was getting the handyman and then figuring out leasing up the properties, how to work tenant leads, showings, marketing, where to put the properties out at.
Yeah.
And then once you get a tenant in place, figuring out how to collect the rent. So the people, the maintenance, collecting rents, and then just how to get tenants into properties right away were the biggest things that I tackled right away when brought management in-house.
Got it. Interesting.